Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all fandoms, welcome to the Raccoon and Ferret podcast. I am the Angry Raccoon.
And I'm not Ferret. I am Ace.
And who is Ace?
I'm a photography student at the same uni as Raccoon. Mm-hmm. I'm not a woodland animal, unlike Raccoon and Ferret.
So how does it feel to actually be hanging out with one woodland animal?
Interesting. Very interesting.
It makes you stand up.
Yeah.
Stand out above the crowd. So, yeah, I should probably explain for anyone listening. So, Ferret isn't here. He's busy. So I've got another friend of the podcast, Ace, with me, who's going to temporarily cover for him or possibly become part of the podcast.
I thought you were going to say become Ferret. That'd be a bit weird.
If you became a ferret, that'd be weird. Yeah, that would be. That would be a bit odd if you just suddenly turned into a ferret. But yeah, if that was happening, we would need to record for obvious reasons, and then we can sell the franchise to Warner Brothers. And have films be made of it based on a true story. We can have that tagline.
Is this where I'm gonna add Tom Cruise to the film?
Yeah. Tom Cruise. He'll play you.
Okay.
And I think George Clooney will play me.
I'm not going to do an impression because I can't do that.
No, see, this is already Ferret. No, he can do the best impression. Yeah. But yeah, so how's things been? We're recording episode 5.
Yeah.
How's things going?
Everything's going good. Uni work still being just tiring. There's quite a bit of it, surprisingly.
I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah.
Gosh. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. We're kind of doing, without going into too much personal details, we're in a pretty serious point in our, I guess, uni careers. So it is very much work, and there's very little time to actually do much work, but we still fight on. And I mean, it doesn't mean that we can't look forward to certain things, much like our first topic, being finally Atlas doing something for once. Actually giving Europe and the rest of the world something. The Persona 5 gameplay trailer.
And I have not played any Persona game, but I watched the trailer and I thought it looked amazing. That art style was nice.
This is coming from someone who doesn't know that much about the... I'm referring to Ace, but I'm referring to you, I should say. Yeah. Who doesn't know much about the Persona series, and you actually like it. So, I mean... Yeah. Is it just the visual aesthetic?
The visual style of it, the gameplay bit I thought was very interesting, and just the music was nice. It went very well with it. It looks different.
For an RPG.
Yeah, for an RPG. I mean, considering most games, it looks different, but yeah.
The Persona games have stood out from the crowd, and in case anyone who knows of the Persona franchise and doesn't know that much, it's a spin-off of the Shin Megami Tensei series, produced by Atlus, a much more, not anymore, famous franchise, because Persona's kind of become the one that, takes the fame now, but, this franchise has been around since, I think, the late 60s, and I mean, it predates Pokemon, with the whole aesthetic of capturing things and training them up and leveling them up, so... That's a nice game fact right there.
I've heard of both of them. I've seen little bits of them, so I know about them, but I actually didn't know they were spin-off properly of each other. I knew they were linked.
It's because the Shin Megami Tensei logo gets smaller and smaller each Persona game, to the point where they don't use it anymore. Look at Persona Gold and you don't see it say Shin Megami Tensei anymore. You have to look very closely at the top of the logo. It says it, and even in the trailer, it does not say Shin Megami Tensei anymore. Because they were a spin-off made to help the West get into RPGs. Because the Shin Megami Tensei series are what some people would call the big boy of RPGs, as soon as they are pretty difficult, and I've played a few and they are pretty challenging.
So I remember one person I was watching on YouTube, they actually said that it's one of those games where you can literally die in the first room if you're very unlucky.
Yeah, and it's one of those games where I think it's also one of those games. I played the Devil Summoner Soul Sacrifice game, which is a game that came out back in the 80s for the Sega Genesis. And that game, there is no save anywhere feature. You usually have to find a save room. You have to buy that feature. So there's a lot of times where you will not know what you're doing and you just die. It's pretty tough. And you got to grind in this game. I mean, I like to just be able to beat the final boss.
Yeah.
So that it's an epic battle. I don't like to grind to the point where I'm level 50 and the boss is 30 and I just kill it in one hit, because that's anticlimactic, much like in Kingdom Hearts when I played that.
Yeah.
And I was level 80 fighting the final boss and I just destroyed it.
See, funny enough, it's actually kind of like that with me for Bravely Default. Like, I haven't intentionally done this, but I've become overpowered throughout the game, and I'm literally beating the bosses in a few hits.
Bravely Default kind of lets you do that, though. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's your choice, but that's fine. I mean, there's another game that's definitely been a game changer for the RPG scene, much like Persona. And this new Persona game, if I just speak on it a little bit, just looking at the gameplay, I agree, it looks fantastic to the point. And a lot of people have been bitching, where's my Persona 5? Where is it, and they finally, I guess, delivered in some sense. I mean, just looking at I've watched it a couple of times, and just looking at how the menus are in that kind of like, what's the word for it? Like that silhouette kind of way, with motion, and the fact that there seems to be, just from what I've seen, there seems to be some kind of alter ego, superhero, thief theme going on with the main characters.
Like the cat thing.
Yeah, no one's talking about that cat.
Yeah, because I saw it, because I'm new to the whole Persona franchise, I thought maybe that was just something like normal throughout them.
Well, it's kind of. Without going into too many spoilers, there is another character in Persona 4 who's a bit like that, but mainly because his art style is kind of similar. But it's very intriguing, because when I saw that, you see they got a normal cat, and then in some kind of otherworld or transformation or whatever this is, he turns into more of a cartoony looking, I presume he could talk cat. So
like a henshin hero.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I don't know what kind of purpose he's going to serve in it, but I mean, it's definitely interesting. I mean, the whole game looks interesting, the art design and everything. I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to this game, and I'll say it now, and this is going to be first on the podcast. I think this game is going to be the end of the PS3 generation. Personally.
Okay.
I think this is going to be the game where it's like, now we move on. Yes, the game's coming out on PS4, but still, I think we move on from there. Yeah, it is. They said that, but I'm going to get it for PS3, because
I might actually get on PS4, like, when I eventually get the PS4.
Yeah. Eventually, yeah. I've still got 2 more years to go.
I've got a few months.
No.
Got to get that Batman.
Arkham Knight.
Of course.
It's going to be a fantastic game.
It looks the best thing ever.
It's coming from a resident Batman fan, I would imagine, so
it's too good.
Too good. Speaking of things that aren't too good, still sticking on DC.
Segway.
Yeah, I'm the Segway king. The new DC 52. Or I should have said DC's new 52 is supposedly coming to an end, according to DC. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of DC, but perhaps you could shed some light on this, Ace.
Basically, with DC, they did this brilliant comic series called 52, and it was to like show what had happened in the last year of superheroes. And every issue came out weekly for the whole 52 weeks of that year. It was an amazing success. It was a brilliant comic series. And recently they decided to reboot everything, including that story, with the new 52. It didn't follow the same format. It was like 52 comics like coming out at once that were supposed to tell some sort of story, and nothing. Like, there's nothing there at all. And I've become completely lost with it, that I don't buy it anymore. And the whole reboot, like, they're not doing it anymore, is... I don't know what they're doing exactly. I think they said there's a story called Convergence.
Yes. Convergence, from what I believe, is it's Brainiac's doing.
Yeah.
The supervillain Brainiac, I'm not 100% sure why people keep liking silly villains like that. But basically, I believe what's happening is Brainiac has decided, hey man, let me just grab a bunch of the same superheroes from different universes and see what happens. And this is supposedly going to end the New 52 and probably start New 52. If you want my 2 cents, this is literally once again DC going, well, if Marvel's gonna do a reboot, we better do a reboot. We're just as good as Marvel. Yeah. Now, I have no allegiance to either one. I honestly don't care. I mean, if you were to say pick your favorite 2 comic book characters, it'd probably be Rocket Raccoon and Harley Quinn. So I don't really have any real allegiance to both. But I really think this is just DC once again kind of going catch up and copy.
Yeah, well, it's both of them are doing literally, quote marks, Hunger Games style story in which they're having everyone fight everyone, and this includes every like universe of their comic stuff. So it's like they got Convergence and they got Secret War, and you can tell your favourite characters from previous universes that are clearly stronger are going to die and lose because they want these other ones that are new to be better.
Yeah, I now that you've mentioned that, there is a sense of shadiness towards that, and I mean it's kind of like the whole story trope.
Yeah.
When for example you could use it in some games which involve multiple characters, where let's say you get the sequel, you play the game. Let's put a good example, Left 4 Dead. You've got the main characters. You've got Bill, Zoe, Lewis, and Francis, and then they kind of appear in Left 4 Dead 2, but unfortunately one of the characters dies.
Yeah.
That's kind of them saying, well, no, you can't have the original guys come back for the sequel. And like that. It's kind of what I guess you're kind of saying, which they might do, and I don't know who these. I really don't want to see Katniss in DC Comics.
No, nothing there yet, unless she becomes the new Catwoman. But
then again, looking at the film, she is extremely fake.
Yeah.
It's something that's said a lot about DC.
Yeah.
And I mean, if she can shoot down a plane with a bow and arrow, then I mean, I think she could give Superman a run for his money.
She learned something from the Avatar movies there.
Mm.
Well, Avatar movie. The others aren't out yet.
James Cameron's film?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we still got 3 more of those to go.
Yeah. One's coming out this year, I think.
I think that's next year, man.
I thought it was this year.
Wow. It's next year, and then in 2016, after then it's a film area.
Oh,
because he's been working on all of them simultaneously.
Okay.
But each one has a different director.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's what he's been doing this time, working on all these sequels, and I don't know if it's going to work.
I don't care about it at all. Like, Avatar, it was meh. Nothing. No.
It was nice to look at.
Yeah, it looked nice, I guess you could say. That was it.
Yeah, I mean, but then again, you know, do I have to use my phrase again? I don't go to the cinema to oh god. I don't go to the cinema to think. I go there for immersion. I guess that's what most people are like. But then again, you see the kind of films that get popular and the kind of films that don't, and you're just kind of like, oh.
Like the Hunger Games.
Yeah, and it's hard to say this without sounding like a hipster, but usually the films that aren't the popular ones tend to be the better ones. But there are exceptions, like Guardians of the Galaxy was fantastic.
Yeah, but that goes with the whole Marvel movie franchise, and almost all of those.
I wouldn't say all of their films are brilliant though.
There's like 1 or 2 that isn't that great.
Thor.
Iron Man 2. Iron Man 2.
I've not seen any of the Iron Mans except for the 3rd.
Iron Man 1 and 3 are really good. Iron Man 2 is a waste of space.
Yeah, because didn't they have the villain Whiplash, or whatever his name was?
Yeah, they
was
had
just
Whiplash.
Pathetic.
They also had the whole Tony Stark alcoholic story in about 10 minutes.
What, did he become an alcoholic and then not become an alcoholic?
He got really drunk, had a fight with his best friend while drunk in the Iron Man suit. So he was DJing in the Iron Man suit. Yeah. Right. And I think 20 minutes later he's not drinking anymore. Yeah.
Right, pacing issues, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what DC is really planning to do with this. It just kind of sounds stupid. All I really care about is what's going to happen to Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Because her comic is really cool at the moment.
Well, as long as they don't do to Harley Quinn, which they did to the Joker, in which they made him an immortal that's apparently been around for hundreds of years.
Who cuts the skin off her face, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if he does that, then they're done. They've ruined it.
You ruined it! Yeah. Speaking of things that could potentially be ruined, the Legend of Zelda is supposedly going to be... Supposedly Nintendo and Netflix are working on a live-action version of a live-action TV series, loosely using an example, Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I heard about that, and as soon as I heard the Game of Thrones, it was like, why?
It was like, I
mean, the reason Game of Thrones is like that is it's very historical. It's going on real life. I've never seen Legend of Zelda going this is really real life kind of stuff. It's always been crazy, epic fantasy.
Epic fantasies, yes, and it does have that kind of aged kind of look to it. It clearly doesn't take place in present time, even for what I think where the game is set. You can say present time, but that still has an old feeling about this.
Yeah,
I mean, this. I mean, we should probably specify. This is not confirmed. We don't. This could easily get cancelled because Nintendo's been burnt in the past from letting other people make their stuff. You just have to look at the Super Mario Brothers show, Legend of Zelda, Zelda CDI, Mario's Hotel. Just look at any of those things, and you can see why Nintendo is very, very protective over other people using their property.
I was really trying to come up with a quote from the CDI game, but I completely lost it.
All toasters toast toast.
That's from the CDI game?
Yes.
What?
Yeah, it is. or one of my other favourites is, "You've killed me."
I remember that
Good.
one. I remember that one. I don't remember the toast.
I think if anyone were to type up, look at any YouTube poops on YouTube, you will definitely find a plethora of samples from Zelda CDI. You just have to type in the king, and you'll get tons of stuff on that.
I need to watch that one.
Yes. Yes, I think most people do, just for the reference, because there may be younger people who don't know. I think, not even the sense, no, let's be fair. Even people who are gamers probably don't even know about this game and probably want to forget. I'd probably recommend the Angry Video Game Nerds review of the CDI, the Philips CDI, and you'll
beautiful.
be up to scratch. But yeah, my only problem with this, I have no problem with them making a live-action TV series because they've come pretty close to doing it. Like, if you've seen the original advert in Japan for The Legend of Zelda, the very first game, it has a live-action look to it. I mean, granted, it was them singing and dancing, but but still, that was the closest we kind of officially got to live action.
Yeah, and there was that fake trailer.
For what, Majora's Mask?
Oh no, just like for like a fake like Legend of Zelda trailer that was for an April Fool's Day.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, I'll find it.
I ignore April Fools.
It was a really well done trailer and it pissed off a lot of people.
I imagine it would, much like that Daria trailer that had a lot of people fucking ready to commit suicide. Yeah, a lot of people thought there was going to be a live action Daria film, and people kind of flipped out. It was fake. It was clearly fake, but still. I mean, the woman who was pretending to be Daria clearly wasn't doing any good of a job. But yeah, my only issue with this is Zelda himself or herself, because some people, I still think Zelda is ambiguous.
For a second I thought you were doing the whole thing where like people think the main character is Zelda just because
No, I know Zelda's the princess, but I'm talking about Link.
But yeah, it's I really hope they do follow at least some game canon.
But here's the thing: with them following game canon, where do they go? Where do they start?
Yeah,
what do they do? Like, because I mean,
that's some crazy timeline.
Exactly. I mean, most people can hardly follow some TV shows today.
It's true.
So how the hell do you expect them to follow this? I mean, are they gonna follow with like the Hyrule Warriors kind of game and do something like that? Perhaps are they literally just gonna do a copy and paste of Game of Thrones? And you kind of have to take into account Nintendo have specified hundreds of times that Zelda will never speak.
Yeah.
So, is he not going to speak in this TV show?
No, Link.
Link.
Yeah.
Why do I keep saying Zelda?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting confused about.
Well, she doesn't really speak that much neither, but...
True.
Yeah, like, is Link going to speak at all? I mean, are we just going to have the cases of it being like, Link, we need you to save us, and he's just like...
Yeah, he's just nodding.
He's just nodding or just saying nothing.
Or he could just make like his sound effect noises that you always hear when he attacks people.
Yeah, but if he opened his mouth and made that sound, that'd be a bit distracting for audiences.
Yeah. Oh, that would be brilliant. That'd actually be brilliant. 2
shouts for yes, 1 for no. Oh, Nintendo, get on it.
Hashtag confirmed.
Hashtag confirmed. We're not going to condole hashtags on this podcast. I can't stand them. But yeah, I would say I'm interested. I think much like most people are.
Yeah.
I mean, Netflix are definitely ringing in the big cash.
Yeah, they've been doing very well. Like, I mean, they did a House of Cards leak thingy, and that got everyone like, oh, new season's coming out. And it was literally 20 minutes of the whole season being leaked.
Bit suspicious, but
yeah.
I guess, I mean, Netflix, they kind of got the market somewhat cornered, but I mean, us still living in England, we're not lazy arseholes, so we're not American, so Netflix doesn't really appeal to a lot of British people, because British people will go out and watch a film, or just buy the DVD.
It's true.
Americans will not. Americans will happily sit on their arse for like a couple hours, and if you are American and you don't do this, then well done for you. Yay, slow clap. Yeah, let's hope
I should have started slower.
Way slower, much like Americans. Oh, anyway. Moving to another country. So there's a guy in, I forget which country, who has been...
Wasn't it Venezuela?
Venezuela. I think it was.
so.
It may have been Venezuela. He's somewhat, well, what he considers altered his face to look like the Marvel villain, the Red Skull. Now, I'm going to say this right now. I wouldn't honestly recommending looking at what this guy looks like, because he looks pretty damn bad. Not in the sense that the surgery just hasn't worked. No, he looks like a freaking monster.
Yeah, he really does.
He has had implants in his skin, and he's, was it like inked his eyeballs?
Yeah, so they're completely black.
Which I still don't understand how that works, but
it's like a form of tattooing. Yeah.
I just have a horrible feeling that's just going to drip out or something.
Well, it's like some people have got like hearts tattooed on their eyes and stuff. It's cool but weird.
Freaky.
Yeah.
But think about it. You're showing that to a friend. Look, honey, I've got an eye. You open your eye. He goes, oh, I can't see it. You keep blinking. But I mean, so he doesn't look anything like the Red Skull. The only thing that kind of resembles the Red Skull is the fact that his nose has been shaved off.
Yeah.
So basically all the bit of your nose that isn't bone and just marrow is kind of just gone. It's kind of just to about here, kind of where the bit of your bridge starts. So that's gone. So I don't know how he grows nose hairs. And also the fact that his kids must be shitting themselves every time they see him.
Wouldn't he sneeze a lot? Like, seriously, or would it just go in through his face?
It would. That's why you have nose hair. As much as it may not be the most comfortable thing to have.
Like, that must be really irritating.
Yeah. Once again, I'm going to stress. I wouldn't recommend looking at what this guy looks like, because he looks pretty stupid and horrible.
Really wrong. Like, who comes up with this, like, honey, I'm gonna look like the Red Skull?
Would have been even better if he didn't tell her and he just came back with like his nose shaved. I was like, honey, guess what I've done?
Surprise!
Exactly. Happy anniversary. It'll be kind of like that, but I don't know. It's an interesting concept. Another kind of interesting concept is the fact that Fox, our good friends over at Fox, who've never let us down. Or never will let us down, want to make an X-Men TV series. They want to milk that fucking cow dry until 2020.
See, the problem is, X-Men by itself would work perfectly as a TV show. But considering the franchise as it is at the moment, and it's Fox, and it's going to be a complete bloody disaster.
They'll probably end up cancelling it, like they cancel everything.
It will. Like, literally one season, it's got like this amount of views. It's not doing enough. Cancelled. Bring in, like, wives who hate their husbands free.
That's because they compare everything to The Simpsons, really.
Yeah.
I mean, everything gets compared to The Simpsons, and then, I guess, Family Guy, despite the fact they've got a way more superior show being Bob's Burgers.
Yeah, Bob's Burgers, I was surprised by that. It was really good.
Yes, it's like, you look at it and you're like, oh shit, the show's actually pretty damn good.
It's funny. It is, like...
Good writing, clever characters, comedy.
Yeah.
Did I just travel back to 1990? Because this was like Simpsons.
Exactly.
But yeah, so there's not really too much to go on other than the fact that they want to make this series and the fact that they have like less than 5 years to do so.
Oh God!
Because I think Fox has the idea that they are going to get the rights back once they lose it.
No,
I don't think they are. Yeah, you made a lot of money on X-Men, but I think Marvel's probably like, hey, how about we just kind of
take it back,
because people be interested in that Wolverine. And that,
yeah,
I mean, and then they'll be able to use like certain words like mutant.
Yeah, which they can't use so far for Quicksilver.
Isn't it just like he got powers? Isn't that just what they use?
Oh no! Well, in the the post-credit scene, they called them like miracles. So it's like, oh yeah, all these miracle haters.
That's so fucking corny. That sounds like something out of Twilight.
Yeah, I mean, literally that was just one post-credit scene, so whether they actually do call them miracles, but I'm pretty sure their powers are something to do with the Tesseract.
The Tesseract!
Yeah, pretty much.
There's another game that has like the word Tesseract in it. I know the villain shouts Tesseract, but I forget what it's from. That's why whenever I hear Tesseract, it reminds me of that. The villain going, Tesseract!
Nice.
Something, I don't know what it's from. If you know what that's from, please let us know.
Yeah, definitely.
But this TV series could be cool. I would much rather them follow some of the more interesting characters like Kitty and...
Yeah. Just not Ellen Page, please. 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 I don't like her. Yeah, please no.
Gooby, please. But, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't think it's going to come to fruition. I honestly don't.
I think there's going to be a pilot it's going to get leaked, no one's going to like it, and then they're going to cancel it. That's my prediction.
Actually, they should have cancelled Fantastic Four.
Fan 4 stick, you mean?
Oh, Fan 4 stick, yeah. Sorry, my bad. I forget there's a difference.
Yeah, there's a big difference. One actually kind of followed some sort of characters and something, and the other, I don't even know what that trailer was. I really don't.
Depression, that's what that trailer was.
It's just, it was like, okay, there's a very interesting thing. Amazing Spider-Man 2 trailer follows the same kind of patterns, with the slow piano, the childhood shots, the sad like life thing, and then a little bit of their power, and then like landscapes.
It's the staple now.
Yeah,
it's the staple now for trailers. I mean, we talked about this in one of the previous podcasts, but yeah, it's so flat. And I'm going to restate my previous comment. It's, you know, if this was meant to get me or anyone excited, you failed.
I don't care about it.
No, and even if I was the biggest Fantastic fan, I would just be like.
You mean the fan of the 4 stick?
This film. Oof,
oh god.
It's not going to be too good. Thinking things that are not good. Nintendo is at it again, being an old man when it comes to the wacky, futuristic world of 2015 and the crazy radical ideas of Let's Play.
I hate them for this.
You want to take this story?
Yeah.
Ace?
Sorry, I'm hitting my head on the chair for the second.
Fair enough.
The Nintendo Creators Program is basically, if you have Nintendo like games on your channel, then they're getting a cut of that money. Like
a nice slice of the pie.
Yeah, pretty much a slice of that pie, and it's not even the fact of you're earning monetization of this. You're like with us. It's like no, that's ours. And you can become part of our channel thing, and then you'll get a slice of your own pie back, like after we've taken a few bites. But yeah, no, it's all theirs, and it only works for their new games. So let's say Super Smash Bros. On the Wii, but in a few months you won't earn any money for that. They'll want you to delete the video from your channel and only play their newer games.
It's backwards as fuck, and it's very stupid because, granted, there is a market for people getting the newest game possible, playing as much as possible, but to immediately be like, promote our stuff, like, get rid of it and stop playing the new stuff, that's wrong. Yeah. I mean, it's very shady, and there are some fucking, when it comes to the gaming industry, there are a lot of shady companies out there which we can name drop, who are very much have a similar mentality, like Sega. Don't want anyone to see their old stuff, and they have very serious issues with people playing their older games. I'm not 100% sure why that is. I don't think it's an embarrassing thing. You get the impression that they're like, no, don't look at the bad stuff. We make the good stuff, like Colonials Marines.
But their old games are good. Like, at least some of them are.
I mean, not that they haven't made good games today. I mean, Sega have some of the nicest looking games out there. When you really look at it, Sega have consistent. One bad thing you cannot say about Sega is they always have good looking games. I don't know how they manage to do it, but they always do. Like the games on PS3 that I've played that are Sega never need to be installed. That's always an optional feature.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's something to be happy about or not, but still. But back to Nintendo, I think this is just complete stupidness, and this is just doing the complete opposite of what's going on. I mean, to pretty much do that is... I kind of lost my train of thought because I'm raged by this. Yeah. But to do that is just stupid because you are potentially scaring away more customers by doing that. I mean, granted, not everyone is as up to date or knows as much as what's going on in the world as possible. Faith, that's how things are. Unfortunately, there is some kind of knowledge class nowadays with the internet. Yeah. But to directly do that to Let's Players, the people who went out and bought your game are playing your game to other people who will most likely go out and buy your game and play that game, giving you the money and fans to then basically be like, nah, fuck you, we want more of that money and get rid of it when we're done. It's very dirty, it feels. And and Nintendo needs to change that. And also the fact that YouTube's letting them do this is pretty fucking shady. I mean, YouTube's coming up to its 10 years. And I saw, old.
I feel old.
Old.
Oh.
Yeah, try and guess how old we are. Yeah, and I saw the fact that YouTube is coming up to its 10th year of existence, and I love how someone wrote an article talking about, oh, what will YouTube look like in 2025, and I was like, it won't, it'll be dead.
Yeah, exactly.
YouTube has a few years left. I mean, with people like fucking Viacom, and I think there's another. I think they have with Viacom, Marvel, and I believe it's Fox breathing down their neck.
Yeah.
And I think a couple of the other record labels who are literally like Viacom. Like, Viacom owns a lot of fucking TV shows and music, and they are fucking powerful. Like, I will give you this, and this is something not a lot of people actually fucking know about. Viacom right now has been working for the last year to take YouTube down completely. Seriously? This is no joke. Yes, Viacom want YouTube gone.
Wow.
They want them gone. This is why you cannot post anything via Viacom, because they will take it down immediately. Review-wise, audio-wise, they will take that shit down fast. A lot of people have noticed this. So whenever you see a video and someone does not show any image, it is most likely owned by Viacom. They are fucking serious, and they are suing the shit out of YouTube because people upload that stuff or have an opinion on their stuff.
That's ridiculous. Like, it's how things are now. Like, all these review stuff are online.
This is why MST3K doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Mystery Science Theater 3000, if you don't know.
It's just a bit ridiculous. I mean, this YouTube has basically been the advertisement tool and review tool for quite a while now. Yeah, and I mean, yes, I mean, it's great that people can make money off of it, and I understand that at the same time, developers and I guess the suits and the publishers, they're losing some money. But at the same time, it's a weird kind of catch because, that person playing a game who's getting the views, which ultimately ends up in them getting money in their pocket, you're losing out on money. But at the same time, that's free advertising. You did not need to pay that person. At the end of the day, they gave you a profit. Of course, if someone was illegally downloading your game, you got an issue. But exactly. I think the game industry has a big problem right now with Let's Players. Obviously, Nintendo are just being an old man about things. Yeah. And much like Capcom, they are the two old men of this group. I mean, people like Bethesda's kind of an old man as well about some things, but it's not as much as Nintendo or Sega, but they are kind of getting there a bit. Nintendo has this weird kind of, they will do some really good stuff, and then like it's that one old man who's still there, who unfortunately just hasn't left yet, who's there going, well, I need more money. And it's just him coming up with stupid ideas, because we already know Nintendo just wants to make games. Yeah. That's all they want to do. And I mean, they've got some really good games out this year, and hopefully this doesn't dampen anyone else wanting to buy a Wii U, because you really should buy one. But it's just stupid. I mean, it is. I mean, I was going to start doing a YouTube kind of Let's Play series, and I was going to play some Nintendo games for that, but because of this, I'm not going to. So I'm not going to have any Nintendo related stuff on there.
Just do your audio and just have a blank screen. Yeah. And let the audience imagine, because that's eventually what it's going to have to come down to.
I'll just play the game, record my audio, and put that on, the audio of me.
And just draw some stick figure images. It's just me when I jump in the tunnel.
God. I'm gonna do.
Is this the future you want, Nintendo?
Yeah, that's your advertisement for the game. People will think your game looks like that.
Looks like
a stick man.
It's awful. So let's move on to our second to last little topic. We're just going to briefly mention this because we thought it was very funny. Superman has a new power other than being OP.
Yeah. Superman. So throughout all his how long? I think
Victories.
He's been 75, 78 years.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, he's had a lot of powers, but none of them have really overtaken his normal stature of powers. Yeah. Which, it's flying, super strength, invulnerability, frost breath, heat vision, and X-ray vision,
and being a god.
And basically being alien god, Jesus. But he's now got the very helpful power of super flare, which makes him do a solar bomb, which can destroy part of a city.
Do a solar flare.
Yeah, it's why does he need this power, for one thing? If you're introducing it because you need more drama, then you've got a bad writer. You can do a lot with a character. Yeah. This power's just dumb.
Pointless. We only mentioned it because we thought it was funny.
Yeah, it is stupid as hell. It really is.
Yeah, it's just like, come on, guys, come on. Like much like you said, just write something. Shit, man. I mean, Superman is a very easy character to write for because you saves the day or whatever. But doing something interesting with him doesn't need to be reinventing him. He's amazing. He's fought everyone. He's killed everyone. He can kill everyone. He's the most powerful thing in fiction. You know, you can't stop him, man. I just think that was just stupid.
But I'm literally imagining this. It's like Superman in a fight in the middle of the city. It's like, oh, that solar sun.
He'll probably do it in Batman versus DC. I bet you any money.
Yeah.
Because that's how they're going to top him destroying half the city.
And killing someone.
Yeah, he killed tons of people.
Yeah.
You know Man of Steel was bad when Godzilla had less casualties.
Oh my god, I know.
Yeah. Alright, and moving on to our final little topic of today, the Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about football because we don't care about football.
Yeah.
All I know is someone won.
American football, we'll say that, because...
Fake football, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like English football or American football, but... Yeah, it's football and American football. Just to clarify.
What? It's about taking rugby.
Yeah, but we can all say that the whole show was stolen by...
Left and right shark.
Yes, left and right shark, which are now the stars of the world.
Pretty much. I actually do wonder who those people are.
Well, apparently, now this was actually, he put this on his Twitter, Snoop Dogg said he was the left shark.
Which I highly doubt, unless Katy Perry was going to sing California Girls and he was going to pop out and be like, do his verse. But
that would be hilarious.
That would have been funny, but
that would have been.
I kind of can see Snoop Dogg doing that. But whoever those dancers were, they are hidden legends, much like that kid from the 80s, the 80s TV show when he was that awesome dance, which is now I forget his name, but yeah, I mean, Katy Perry came on and she was putting on a fun show. I honestly don't really care too much about Katy Perry, but one thing I do say is the person who decides what she wears and does and performs on did a fantastic job, and usually does do a fantastic job with all her videos. They're usually the highlight of anything related to Katy Perry.
They really are.
Katy Perry can't quite sing because she can't hit high notes.
No, I mean, I've always found her strangely attractive, but...
No, she's nice looking, yeah.
Yeah, but... Yeah, the music doesn't really... It's nothing there for me, and... It is mainly set design, music video stuff, and just everything about it is good. Just the main thing.
Especially those sharks.
Yeah, those sharks.
I mean...
Godlike.
They are kind of godlike, and they've spawned tons of memes
already.
Even Katy Perry's dress, of course, has spawned tons of memes. And I mean,
Bam Bam Bigelow.
Bam Bam Bigelow. Is he dead?
No, I think everyone keeps saying he's dead.
It's because so many wrestlers are dead. That's why.
It's true. Yeah, but Ric Flair isn't.
Okay.
How is Bam Bam Bigelow supposedly dead yet Ric Flair isn't?
I don't know.
That man's a mummy.
I don't know too much about wrestling.
He's he literally has to be 200 years old. I'm not kidding.
And he comes in his fucking robe. Shit, like he just came out of the Playboy Mansion. He's there, holding his arms out, whoa, he's ready for a fight now.
It's literally going to be he throws a punch and then falls over because he's tired from it all.
Guy's too old, man.
He really
needs to give it up. He just needs to be an agent or something like that. Shit. But yeah, I think that was the only worthwhile thing talking about the Super Bowl, other than some of the adverts, which I didn't really watch.
I didn't either.
Some of the only good ones worth watching was the one involving the Breaking Bad reference.
Oh, yeah.
Which was kind of cool. Liam Neeson was playing Clash of Titans, apparently.
Yeah, apparently they did a fake Taken 4 trailer thing with Liam Neeson. It wasn't kind of at the end of... I think 22 Jump Street, where they do kind of like that, but for Taken 4. Just it wasn't a real trailer, just taking the complete piss out of it.
Yeah, I mean there wasn't too many adverts because they were already kind of just spot there on the show, and they showed a ton of trailers for Jurassic World. I think there was an Avengers one. I think
so. I'm not sure.
I didn't really watch it, to be honest, because
that
kind of stuff doesn't. I mean, glorified advertising doesn't really appeal to me.
I mean, sports doesn't appeal to me at all anyway.
Can you tell? We've just been talking about games and comics for the last half hour.
But, yeah, the whole event thing does not interest me. I can't recall seeing anyone on any sort of social media person really talking about it, except for one person.
I'm sure they did.
Like, no, on my Facebook and all that stuff, I only saw one person. I mean, I don't use Twitter, so I'm not all of that stuff, but yeah. I only saw one person on personal Facebook.
You shouldn't say that, because if you get popular, people make a fake Twitter for you, and then you'll be in hot shit.
I don't think I want that.
Fair enough.
No Twitter for me.
Yeah, but the Super Bowl was fine other than the two sharks, which I'm still on. I think the world is on some kind of quest to figure out who they were.
Yeah.
And I'm sure eventually there's going to be some documents suggest it was John from California. Yeah, something like that. Who knows?
God, it's John Wilkes Booth.
What?
John Wilkes Booth. He's come back from killing Abraham Lincoln. He's now a shark.
That'd be good.
Okay, new movie patent.
Yes, shark. Yeah. The story of the left and right shark. Hollywood, get on it!
Assassin shark. The left one was right. See?
It's good.
You get a nice... Yeah.
That's why Ace is on this podcast.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Right, so we've covered the small topics. Now it's time for the main topic. And now I'm going to warn people right now. It's going to contain some spoilers. Because we are talking about the film we've done at least 4 years waiting for this film to come out.
Yes.
And it's finally come out in England. And that film is Disney's Big Hero 6.
Or should we say Disney's Marvel's Big Hero 6? Or... I'm pretty sure it's something like
Marvel presents DC Comics, I guess. Or Disney Comics, I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess you could say that.
Yeah.
So I think we both saw the film at different times, a week apart. But I'm going to warn from now on, we are talking spoilers. So if you don't want spoilers from the Big Hero 6 film, then I would suggest skipping to what is displayed on the screen. Well, with that being said, there's your final warning. We are now talking spoilers about Big Hero 6. So Ace, what did you think of Big Hero 6?
I really, really loved Big Hero 6.
Okay.
And I had already been told some good things about it. I didn't get any details, but it was essentially what people said. It was like Avengers, but if the main focus was on Tony Stark. And the main villain was... Well, you didn't really get much of him. Really, you got it all at the end, but there was no build-up. So, but it was really good.
Yeah, I kind of wasn't half expecting a villain. I was really surprised to see a villain. I thought it was going to be very much about kind of becoming the creator. Like, I assumed they were going to be heroes in some sense, but for that reason, I didn't assume that there was going to be a villain. Mainly because I didn't watch. I only ever watched the teaser trailer, which they released, which I've now later found out is an extended. One of the extended scenes in the film, but I only ever watched that and then was literally like, I'm watching this, and I didn't watch anything else. I never seen anything. I didn't even know the characters. I kept seeing the inflatable guy, which I knew what it was, Betamax. Betamax, who for a lot of people, I think there's a reason why he's on the poster, because he steals the show. I mean,
he's a lovable creature. Like, he's amazing. I'd say best robot, like, ever.
Better than R2-D2.
Yeah, better than R2-D2.
Oh, what about the classic C-3PO?
There's no contest there. Baymax is so much better. He's epic. Like,
he has a very deadpan kind of way of delivering everything, but he's also very cheery in some sense.
It's like, if anyone who's watching this has played Star Wars Knights of the Republic, there's a robot in that called HK-47, and he's a complete deadpan, like, kind of arsehole. He kills what he does, and he calls everyone meatbags. It's like a friendly version of him, with less killing. That's what I kind of see it as.
Yeah, there's no killing in this film, which is good.
Yeah, well, technically...
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously we're going to spoilers in this, and if you're listening to this, then... Yeah,
you don't mind it.
I mean... We're talking spoilers, so we're going. We gave him a warning. It's too late to turn back now. So, therefore, we told him it's on the screen right now. So, we kind of meet up with our main character. I forget his name right now.
Wow,
this is pretty bad. The film is that memorable.
I know.
So we meet up with our main character, and he has a brother who kind of goes to a college. You know, this is very much set in a very futuristic kind of world, but very believable. Set in
San Francisco.
San Francisco.
I love
and,
that name.
You kind of meet up with his brother, and you kind of persuades him to, you know, kind of, because he's a very smart kid. You kind of see from the introduction, he's definitely great at building things. It's definitely a technological world.
He's inventive and a bit cheeky.
Yeah.
Got some craftiness, all that kind of fun stuff.
All that stuff, and later in the plot, after he really wants to go to his brother's college, after we meet some of his other friends, who we'll talk about in a sec.
Yeah.
And he kind of creates an invention, a pretty damn impressive invention that obviously when you see it, it's what is it, microbots?
Yeah, the microbots.
Where you can use his mind to kind of make it form anything, which is a very clever.
It's a nice setup for the villain, by the way.
A nice setup for the villain. You don't have to skirt around things. Yeah. Don't full spoilers, man.
No.
Don't for the sake.
Really good setup.
And so unfortunately, what happens is there seems to be a fire to which obviously there are people just coming out of this fire. The place is burning. So which our main character, his brother, goes in to pretty much obviously save their teacher who's still stuck in there. And he unfortunately loses his life to an explosion, which is a very... this scene took me by surprise. I was not expecting death in this film.
Yeah, I mean, when I had seen the trailer for it, I didn't think someone was going to die, at least not that soon, if anything. But as soon as the scene started playing, I was like, oh god, I know what's going to happen. And it was like, no. And then... the emotions.
The film handled it very well, and I definitely tell. One thing that I guess the only downside that I think a lot of people and myself have with the film, and this is the only negative with the film, is that the story is nothing special.
Yeah.
At all. It's nothing new. It's
not.
It's very simple, but it's everything else that makes this film worth seeing and fantastic.
Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of that stuff to handle, you get to see where our main character, he's kind of sad and he's kind of just a bit depressed. And there's a nice scene where obviously his friends from the college are kind of you should come out and do some stuff, and he's
we're all
very reluctant. And it's not until he realizes that his brother's invention, Baymax, is still here, and that's when all comedy ensues to an extent. And this really gives him the push to keep going, and he goes to the college and meets with his friends, and things seem to be pretty much all right, which I this is where the film kind of sets its ground. You kind of finally meet the final player, or almost the final player. Yeah. And this is where you kind of meet Baymax, and you get to know him, and his the fact that he's basically this big marshmallow kind of robot. He's always constantly trying to get through things, and he's maybe not quite the most helpful robot. He's trying to pick up the main character, but crushing him at the same time. Yeah. It's pretty funny for that extent. Especially when obviously when I guess the main kind of plot kicks in, you realise that
the microbots, he still has one from earlier in the film.
Yes.
And he ends up realising, Baymax ends up saying, hey, it must be working, and he starts following him, setting up a really brilliant scene in my opinion, trying to chase him down. Very, very well done chase scene, which is we've seen these kind of chase scenes before, but this one was done very well, where it's kind of just where they kind of play on the fact that obviously you would be able to spot a big white robot walking around just kind of looking down, following things, but at the same time no one else seemed to no one cared, and I don't know whether that's just a standard in that town, or they were just they did have mini robot fighting stuff, so
but
maybe robots are fine.
Robots that big?
True.
We don't see them, but I don't know. I mean, then again, there is a lot of technology in this film that
seems a bit crazy.
And we figure out that our main character's microbots are being mass-produced. Yeah. To which he thought they were creating a fire, and which we're introduced to our villain, who seems to be very much in control of this, a masked villain in a kabuki mask. Yeah,
personally one of my best, favourite descriptions of a villain, we're in there in the police station, and he's like, so the man chased you and he wore a kabuki mask.
Yeah, the police officer.
It was nice. It's brilliant for that scene.
Yeah, it's definitely... I mean, we've seen these kind of scenes before. The kids go to the police officer and they're telling this crazy idea, and he's like, so you're telling me a flying monkey flew from space and, froze rocks, It's that kind of thing, but it's also got the brilliant scene with Baymax, and he's got, holes in him, and he's just...
He becomes a bagpipe.
Yeah, he basically becomes a bagpipe, and he's just putting tape on his arm, and it's just that really just... They just let that scene just linger long enough.
Yeah. And, long enough so it's not annoying,
No, Baymax never feels annoying.
Yeah,
at any point.
surprisingly.
Yeah, which is something Disney's been nailing of lately.
Yeah,
If you think about it, like Olaf wasn't annoying at all, and the horse in Tangled was not annoying.
Oh, the horse was epic.
The horse was
he deserved
the true hero of the film. Really.
Yeah.
I've never really seen a horse animated that way or moved that way in any kind of fictional.
Sword fight.
Yeah, he has a sword fight. I mean, yeah, Quick Draws McGraw. He's a talking horse, and he's quick with the gun.
Yeah.
But like, I've never really seen a horse that kind of animated.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, the film kind of plays out from there when it kind of becomes like we've got to become heroes. We've got to figure out who this guy. We've got a brilliant chase scene in a car.
Oh yes. Okay, one of the best things, and what was the character's name? The one driving? I always forget. Wasabi. Yeah, I always keep thinking Watsuba for some reason.
He's kind of like the only character in the film, but whatever.
Yeah, so he's driving, and in my opinion, one of the best things about any chase scene, they're asking why he isn't going faster, and it's because he says it's illegal, like crossing red light is illegal. It was brilliant.
It's a brilliant contrast of them just driving away from this guy.
Instead of going like super speed, like out chase scene, it's literally like obeying the laws.
One of the other characters, Gogo, kind of takes the wheel and kind of takes it from there.
Woman up.
Woman up. Level up.
Yeah.
But from there you kind of get the scene where they kind of put their minds together, kind of become the big Hero 60 heroes. They suit up. Baymax, all the other characters use what they know to become superheroes, and they pretty much go to kind of fight this guy, figure out who he is, and eventually they do figure out who he is, which is which I thought was not obviously a super massive twist, but it still was a twist that I was actually surprised.
Yeah, so was I.
Did you like that? Well, before mentioned it is. You find out that the guy behind the Kabuki monster is their teacher, the one his brother, the main character's brother, went in to save. Yeah,
and it was also the person who told the hero to stay at the school.
Yes.
Like with his microbots that had won the award.
Because we had another villain who was very much this kind of corporate
CEO. I'm gonna buy you out.
Kind of stuff, and you immediately go, "Oh, that's the villain. He's the one. He took it. He did this."
Considering it's like in usual Disney films, I mean, the last kind of few haven't really followed this trend. The obvious setup villain is the obvious setup. Yeah. So, and obviously we all thought, the teacher was dead as well, but no, it was a nice little twist there.
I like that twist, and this is where things kind of get very interesting in my opinion, because the film takes a more interesting pace, especially from that moment on, because our main character is obviously extremely upset that he's still alive, taking his brother, and his brother's dead, and he's like, well, my brother wanted to save you, and he kind of says the line, that was his fault. Yeah. Which is... that was like... Very, very deep.
Touching the nerve there.
Yeah, and obviously, realistically, he kind of freaks the hell out and tries to take him out, and we get a very nice touching scene where he kind of realizes that wasn't the best thing to do, and this is kind of when we build up to the finale. Yeah. Where we finally go to take out the big bad guy.
It's when all the heroes kind of start trusting each other. Like, I mean, they were all good friends.
Yeah, they're all good friends, but you can clearly see they maybe weren't tempted ready, and I like that scene. I mean, another downside is you didn't get to quite see a lot of them in their powers, but
and I mean, while their characters were slightly established, it wasn't too much.
No, they could have done a lot more time. Maybe having them be a bit more involved in the film would have definitely helped us know them a bit more. Because I mean, they are good characters. Yeah, I just maybe could have had more of them.
Yeah, I would have preferred. I mean, if anything, the ones that were established most was the guy with the monster suit. Yeah. Yeah, he was probably the most out of the ones. He actually had some sort of development.
Yeah, we don't know anything about the other two girls or really Wasabi.
Yeah, not really anything at all.
Other than the obvious foreshadowing. Well, I wouldn't say obvious. Other than the foreshadowing. Yeah. In the beginning of the film. Yeah. But the finale is pretty damn fantastic, and it's very. At a certain point was very touching. Yeah. Where kind of using they kind of touch upon other dimensions, and
the villain actually had a motive.
Yeah, he had a realistic motive that wasn't right, but was understandable to some extent.
Yeah, it actually set up the film. Like, obviously he sees these microbots, he realizes, hey, this can help me. Yeah. He sets up the fire, steals them, builds them, starts getting the machine back so he could travel to this space between spaces.
Yeah, this Salvador Dali, this what's the
I forgot what it's called now.
Vincent van Gogh.
Yeah.
Vincent van Gogh kind of looking space, and he manages to find his daughter who got kind of lost in space, and unfortunately we do lose Betamax. And I remember being in the cinema, a lot of kids were like, "No!"
Yeah. I remember people like some people actually cried at that. I saw that.
It's a very sad moment because you kind of have this just lovable character, for him to be like, "No," and for him to deliver it in such like a robotic way, not even in a sad sense. Only the main character's got that sadness. He's just like, "No, it's fine. I'll get you to safety."
Yeah,
he's just doing his job,
practical and logical,
which is very sad for him to just be like, "No, just go." Not even with any sympathy or no turning back. Just, I can do this. And I think
like there's only enough for you to go.
And I thought it was a very, very sad scene. I could definitely see a lot of children getting upset, but at least the film does end on a much happier note, which I'm glad to see. And I mean, overall, it's a fantastic film. I don't really feel like giving films review stars or numbers, but
I'm gonna say 11 thumbs out of 2.
11 thumbs out of 2.
Yeah.
What does that mean? What kind of scale?
Well, like, thumbs up, like, you get a bunch of people and all of them put their thumbs up instead of just one person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Both thumbs up, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. I'd say this film is definitely worth watching, especially if you're a big fan of animation, Disney, superheroes, especially if you're a boy from the age 6 to 14 and love Marvel. Speaking of Marvel, do you think that Marvel could potentially have an animated Marvel universe?
I think it would actually be brilliant if they could, but the problem is the really, like, general cinema public would actually still get confused at that.
Yeah, they might do, but I guess as long as they don't bring in, like, Thanos into this anime, I don't really want to see a Big Hero 6 2 or some other animated property and they're going, "We've got to stop Thanos," because then audience will be like, "Hold on a sec, isn't Iron Man and Thor supposed to stop Thanos?" Because I know a lot about Marvel Comics and I know Thanos is a villain and he is bad.
Because that ominous music.
Who's Ultron? You know?
Yeah.
But Black Panther, don't you mean Pink Panther? Come on. I think I know my stuff.
Oh, please say someone actually said that. That would be brilliant. I really want to.
I'd love to think that. I mean, if there was people calling The Hobbit a rip-off of The Lord of the Rings when the first trailer came out, then I think maybe there are stupid enough people.
God.
Yeah, there was a I remember looking at a comment when I first saw the trailer for The Hobbit, and someone actually put a comment, and I wish I'd saved it, where it was literally someone going, "This is an obvious rip-off of The Lord of the Rings. They even got the same actors, same characters. How could they do this?" And I was just like, wow.
Oh. That's just terrible.
I mean, before we kind of end the spoilers, that post-credit scene.
Yes.
Now, I don't think this is necessarily a scene for the sake of having, setting up for another film. I don't think it is. But I think they are hinting at a possibility of something else, which is why I bring up the whole Marvel, possible animated Marvel universe. So we do get a scene with, what's his name? It's so you kind of see Stan Lee, and he kind of is like, I guess, the father to one of our characters, which I thought was a very nice touch. And they kind of do a joke, and at the same time he kind of alludes to like maybe another superhero kind of lurking around. At first I thought it was maybe the Incredibles, because the outfit looked like that. But I don't know. I think this film has been proven to be successful.
Yeah, I mean, funny enough, you can actually see Stan Lee earlier in the film.
Can you?
Yeah, when they're first walking in the guy's house, you can see on the portrait him and his dad.
Oh, yeah, you can. Yeah, I remember that. But I only thought that was it for Stan Lee.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I would like to. I mean, do you think there is anything that they could do within anything that could just serve as a purpose in the animated universe?
See, I would really love for another one, and if so, it would probably be lesser known Marvel characters. Like, they could really get some lesser known ones out there in an animated universe.
Who do you think would?
Well, someone you keep saying, the Runaways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be really interesting. I
mean, it does work, I think, as a film. I mean, you got the setup of a bunch of kids whose parents are supervillains.
Yeah.
And they team up to become superheroes to kind of stop them and other characters. They probably only have to follow the main kind of arc
Yeah.
with the first story, because after that X-Men get involved, and then obviously Marvel can't do that at the moment.
I'm sure they could instead get the Big Hero 6 to get involved.
Maybe they could. I mean, if they want to do a crossover, which would be pretty damn nice, but obviously they'd have to take place in the same world.
Yeah.
Or
if it's a animated universe, then
if it's animated universe, yes, I guess it could. I also have I know they're never going to do it because Marvel don't see the sheer brilliance of it, but they should do a Rocket Raccoon animated film where he teams back with his original crew.
Yeah.
Maybe make it a prequel before before they meet Groot. So maybe this be, like I said before, a prequel.
Yeah.
But also to kind of tie it into Guardians of the Galaxy, you could also maybe possibly have like Groot in the plant pot as well.
Yeah,
like Rocket Raccoon's just carrying that around, and he meets up with like Walrus and Blackjack and his girlfriend as well, because she's not been in it. And maybe some of the other villains that just they deal with. And maybe you could even incorporate the Hulk and She-Hulk, because they're pretty good friends as well. So
yeah.
that's just a theory of mine, but not unless Marvel's listening and they're going, "Oh, ka-ching!" I don't know if it's gonna happen.
Someone I really need Marvel to do an adaptation of is Moon Knight.
Moon Knight.
Yeah,
Isn't he really violent though?
Well, he can be. It's like almost as violent as Batman in some circumstances. Like he can be, or you can just play him a bit kind of cartoony. Fine, but it's such an interesting character. It really is. I mean, at one part it did play with his weird mental state. It can be done well.
I don't know if audiences are ready for that, because as we all know, no one wants to make an 18 rated film.
Yeah, unfortunately, isn't Deadpool being like a 15 or?
They're probably gonna make it a 15.
Yeah.
That's as much they can get away with.
Why?
Because 18 films don't sell that much, because you have to remember, most people who are stupid enough to go see bad films are kids.
True.
So if you make it accessible, they'll most likely see it. If you don't, then they can't see it. Good majority of their profit comes from kids.
Yeah.
Kids want to see horror films and can't. Therefore, they pirate them.
Or get it on DVD.
Or get it on DVD, which then you can make back some of the profit, but still.
Yeah. Although most kids nowadays do everything digital because it's the easy way.
Well, some DVDs come with a download code, so
true.
They're trying to be smart. Like I bought a couple vinyls that have had download codes, so I can have the physical and the digital.
Yeah, but that's different. Is when it's just like, I'll just get the digital kind of thing. I always dislike that. It doesn't feel real to me.
It feels fake in some sense.
Yeah.
It is a bit fake feeling, but then again, that's really another discussion for another time on the matter of physical and fake and all that kind of stuff. But yes, let's move on to another subject. It's going to be Ace.
Yes?
That's what I've been watching.
What have you been watching?
I've been watching Welcome to the NHK.
What is Welcome to the NHK? Welcome
to the NHK is an anime about a guy who is what you would consider in our term a otaku.
Okay.
But an extreme one. I think they refer to as Hikigori. Hikiguria.
Okay.
Higamigoria or something like that. Which basically is the archetype you find in some kind of, in Japan today, which is the person who won't leave their house, they just work and they just love anime.
Okay. So the stereotype that everyone says about most people that like anime.
Yes.
Okay.
Or what they say about some otakus.
Yeah.
And this character, we kind of meet him, and he's very much in this position where he doesn't like to leave his house, and he is very kind of paranoid, even to the point of like referring to the NHK as a conspiracy, just out to pretty much get him. That's why I won't say what the NHK stands for, but let's just say it's a conspiracy against trying to get him to leave his house, and interact and socialize with people. There's even a scene where he does eventually leave his house, and he does do a written piece, and he's getting praise, but then his fear of like people are just being outside gets the better of him, to the point where he has this fantasy idea where he literally presses a button on a chair and blasts out of the classroom. To which that's never explained, but he's just back at his house the next scene, and it's a bit like, alright.
This sounds like it really caters to me. Like, this sounds like my life.
It's got an interesting premise. I mean, the main premise is our main character, he kind of meets up with this girl who's pretty much like, let's just say for the sake of it, you're an otaku, I'm here to help you. It's a bit odd, because why would some girl try and help you get out of that lifestyle.
Yeah.
At the same time, to somewhat convince her that he's not really that, he teams up with another friend who is heavily into the dating sims to make their own game. So now the plot kind of revolves around them kind of making this dating sim game, or potentially making the best Japanese dating sim of all time, and other characters get involved and other plots get involved, and it's very interesting. It's got a somewhat, not really sad, but it's got like an interesting premise, and I wouldn't say the animation is too great, but it's still worth a watch, and it's just kind of about just doing it. Doing it. I mean, he just gets out of it. I mean, I haven't finished it yet.
Yeah.
But I've heard it's good, and where I am at the moment, it's very interesting. Where it's dealing with suicide.
Oh wow! Okay.
Which something I did not expect in the series.
No.
But yes, it's dealing with suicide, which is.
It does sound like a really interesting show, though.
It is interesting. It's not your typical wacky thingy, and I mean, when you mention like the whole otaku fandom, they do kind of point on the whole sexualization of it, but there's never any of it. It's only ever in like the model form.
Oh yeah,
which is funny.
Okay.
Yeah, and they kind of make a play on that, especially as soon as his other friend just has a wall just filled of like his anime collection of his figures and everything, and it is really bad to look at, and you kind of, those kind of people kind of make you go, oh, and I like anime. It is a bit sad, but that's what I've been watching of the last.
I actually want to watch that now.
Yeah, I'd recommend it.
Part of that sounds like me, like not wanting to leave the house. As soon as I get near people, I eject myself from life. Kind of sounds, similar.
Well, I mean, people are stupid, so that's understandable.
Yeah.
Some people, if you listen to this podcast, you're probably not stupid.
Hopefully.
It's just the best. But other than that, is there anything you want to add to, anything you've been watching you want to mention?
Have I been watching anything? No, I've been, like, going through games at, like, a very quick pace.
It doesn't have to be just watch.
Yeah.
It can be anything. Read, play, whatever.
Yeah, I haven't been doing anything but play computer games in the last, like, few weeks, basically. I've just been, a lot of kind of older, like, 2007 to 2012 games. So,
but still.
Yeah, I've just been going through them really quickly and realising how easy they are.
How easy games have become?
Yeah, like, I played through, I mean, not saying these are, like, prime example of computer games, but Saw 2.
Oh, the critically acclaimed.
Of course. Remember Me is almost done. I only started that like yesterday, and I only played it for like 2 hours. Infamous 1 and 2, I completed those very quickly again for the 10th time. I don't know.
They're not terribly long games.
No. The whole Batman Arkham game series again. Which, I'm obsessed.
You play those all the time.
I really do.
You play them every week.
Yeah. And what else is there? Yeah, just a lot of those kind of games, and I don't know, games are getting way too easy. Like, unless they're an RPG, you're going to have them done in, like, less than a week.
The reason why they're getting easier is because the masses don't want a hard game.
Yeah.
Or they kind of do, and they kind of pride themselves on that, which is why Dark Souls is so popular.
Yeah.
I mean, some games, Dark Souls is just somewhat unfair to an extent. You look at some other games and it's just like... Especially if you want to go NES era, you're just kind of like... You want real rage, kids.
Yeah.
Play Ninja Gaiden or something like that.
Oh, yeah, exactly. But, I mean, it's kind of like... Dark Souls is only really hard because all the other games are so easy. Like, if if a lot of games were at least somewhat hard, like if their hard mode was maybe their normal, then maybe games would be a bit more challenging.
Yeah. It's unfortunately true that that's kind of happened, but obviously you've got to keep the dumb masses happy.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, bitch, and they'll just say, oh, the game's broken because I can't beat it.
Ugh.
Which is everyone's favourite.
Kind of sounds like someone I know.
Excuse. Huh?
Sounds like someone I know. Like,
who's this?
I'd rather not name names. It's,
Let's not name and shame in this podcast.
But they get a game, and if they can't do something in literally 10 minutes, then they don't like it and trade it away. And I think the only games they end up playing are FIFA and wrestling games.
Oh, so the true games then?
Yeah.
Okay.
They only play those because of that.
Yeah, well, they are the best games out there.
Yeah,
I mean,
of course. I mean, they're so good. They come out yearly.
Innovation every year. They always change it. Always keep it fresh.
Yeah.
You know, something I think more games need to do.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, it is a shame. But I mean, that's kind of a talking point as to why that's happened over the last few years, and we can get into more details about that some other time. Maybe that's definitely a question for another time. So I guess the only thing left to do is just to kind of start wrapping up this podcast for now. I mean, is there anything else you want to add before we kind of deal with the video of the week?
I can't think of anything. Not at all, no.
Fair enough.
You?
No, I guess I'll just move on to
Okay.
what the video of the week is. So the video of the week is going to be Young Lean Hurt. This music video is a spectacle to view. If you're a fan of the years 2002 and 2003 and technology and 3D animation during that time period, you are going to fucking love this video. This is a fairly older video, and I'm not even sure if he is serious because he has released an album, but when you see him actually sing / rap and his video, it's very hard to tell. If this guy is not serious, he's done a fantastic job. But that's going to be the video of the week, and that's going to end episode 5 of the podcast recorded for the 2nd and the 8th of February 2015. I am the Angry Raccoon.
I am Ace.
And we'll catch you on the flip side. Laters.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Oh my god, this is like a curse.
Someone has to say it.
Oh god. Alright, we're out.